Welcome back to Closing Time with Nick El-Tawil. I am still Nick El-Tawil, and I'm here with my guest today, Mathew Avrhami. Matt, what's going on?
Everything and nothing, all at once.
Did I say your last name correctly?
You did, but my fun fact, my first name and my last name are both misspelled. So I don't know why. My mother really wanted me to have one T in Matthew, so that's what I got. And then when my dad came to America from Israel, the name actually is Avrahami.
Mm-hmm.
But in Hebrew, there are no vowels. So when it translated to English, he didn't really know his English, and we lost an A. So you can now say it as it's written, Avrami, or you can say it the way it's supposed to be said, Avrahami.
When my grandpa came to America from, it's an Egyptian last name, but he actually moved from Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came here, it was just Tawil, Tawil, Ellis Island. They're like, you know what? That's not foreign enough. So they made it El-Tawil, El-Tawil. When I was making music back in the day, because I wanted to be Kanye West, I actually went by Nick Tawil as a throwback to our original name. And I even had like a logo made up. It was like Nick Tawil, this. But when I got my real estate license, I had to use my legal name. So I had to use Nick El-Tawil because I never legally changed it. In hindsight, brilliant move on my part, which I did by accident, but brilliant because I'm the only Nick El-Tawil in the world. Whereas if you type Nick Tawil into Google, there's like 20.
Amazing.
Like dentist, doctors, Nick Tawil, yeah.
So I grew up in Phoenix, and I had no idea that Avrahami was a name. I thought I was the only one in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Israel to study Hebrew and visit family.
Pretty common name.
And when I was checking in at the university, she started talking to me in Hebrew, and I was like, I don't speak Hebrew. I don't know what you just said. And she was like, your last name's Avrahami? You don't speak Hebrew? What's wrong with you? So then after that, I went and looked at the phone book. They still had phone books, and I was like, wow, there's like a section of us. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, my
But you're the only one without the A.
The only one without the A that
There
I
you
know
go.
of. My dad is from Israel, and before that, Persia or Iran. And then on my mom's side, her family's been in America going all the way back since before the American Revolution. So it's like pretty wild mix of family and heritage.
For sure. Before the revolution, so they were like super rich British people.
I don't know. They did own hotels. They were in real estate development.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
But I have a great uncle. My older sister's like super into family history.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a great uncle that missed not one but 2 opportunities to sign the Declaration of Independence because of bad weather. Yeah.
Okay.
Weather gets tough in Delaware in the winter.
Where's
those
John?
blizzards are going on horse.
I just wonder what the other guys are thinking. Like, oh, where's John? Fuck it, just sign the thing.
Yeah. Or how many other people missed their chance?
Yeah, right. If he missed it, there must have been others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's cool. So do you have family on the East Coast now?
Some on the East Coast, some, North and South, and then some West Coast family.
Mm-hmm. All over.
Midwest family.
So everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. My mom's side of the family from Connecticut, my great-grandfather moved to Scottsdale in 1960, which is where my mom was born. But I have no one left on the East Coast, so when I was in New York, it was just me over there with nobody else.
New York's a fun spot.
It is a fun spot.
You get a lot done there.
You do. And, there's really nothing else to do. It's like you live in this place where there's all these people, and you're in this tiny fucking cramped apartment, and you basically work and drink. That's your life.
It's called the golden handcuffs.
Golden handcuffs, yeah, because you're making, good money, but also everything's so expensive, so you can't really afford to leave.
Yeah.
And that was me.
Mm-hmm.
And also being a real estate, broker, the business doesn't move with you. Like the contacts do make sense and they do help you. But it's not like I'm going to move to Arizona and then I'm just going to be selling 30 homes a year in Arizona. Like it doesn't work like that.
Nope.
No.
It's a total career transition.
It's big transition. But now I'm actually reconnecting with a lot of those people. So I am managing broker for Arizona, and at our company, the managing broker in New York is actually a guy I used to work with. So I had a Zoom call with him yesterday, and it was like, John, how you doing? Good dude. Yeah, like working with that guy.
It's amazing. Small world, things come full circle sometimes. And
yes.
You don't expect it.
Mm-hmm. So you're into real estate development.
Yep.
You were telling me you'd like to build build to rent houses.
Yes, I've done that. I've done a range of things in real estate, not just development.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, kind of like you, that wasn't my first career. Had some other ones in there also.
Technically, real estate is my only adult career.
Okay.
But if you want to count the music producer thing when I was like 22 years old, like we'll say like 17 to 22. I don't know if you count that as a career.
That's your call, not mine.
I wouldn't call that a career.
You spent 5 years of your life on it?
Oh yeah, more than 5 because I was.
So that's a career.
5 years actually, like really taking it seriously, but years and years before that.
It's longer than a high school run.
Yeah.
Or a college degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I made no money. It's very hard to make it as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And you really need someone above you a lot of times. Like there's the few examples of like people who start their own record label and really make it. It's like Jay-Z's the only one.
Mm-hmm.
If you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Start his own record label, like totally independent. Yeah. So there's like one success story ever.
Yeah.
For the most part, the music business is like someone's above you and they have to like drag you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's like a pyramid scheme?
In a lot of ways, yeah. But it's also very like incestuous in a way where it's like if you don't do what people want you to do, they just cut you out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, now you get to do what you want.
Now
you have your freedom.
Yeah.
And you can still make music.
Yeah. Well, no, that's over. When I first got into real estate, I sold all my equipment, and that's when I had my first big month. Was when I finally let go. I was 23 when I did this.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm all about going all in on something.
Very similar like that.
So what was your first career?
First career was I wanted to tell stories and produce film.
There you go.
Not too dissimilar. And I was in high school, and I was doing everything. I knew it was a long road, tough road, a challenging career to break into. So I was all in early. Even before high school, actually, I was making movies in like 5th and 6th grade. It took me 2 years to get the money and buy a VHS camcorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I started making movies, which I still have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a VHS player, but I gotta watch them sometime.
I love that you still have those.
Yeah, you gotta keep those.
All my tracks were on an external hard drive. It's gone forever.
Yeah. So I was making movies, and then I was also really into sports, but it came to a head where I had to kind of choose, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna be a professional athlete in tennis or cross country or some of the other sports I was doing. So it's like, well, I really like telling stories. That's really what I want to do. And so I went to South Mountain High School,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the roughest high school in the state.
I mean, I don't want to say it, but that's a hood.
And I mean, if it's bad now, it was worse then. The security guards were smoking weed with the kids, and this is back when pot was like highly, highly illegal. I came from Mesa Mountain View at that time, so that was like white picket fence, Mormontown, all the way into like the hood of hoods, where drugs and gangs were everywhere, and there were literally gang fights, sweeps, where like the gang was sweeping through the school with chains and bats, and I'm just like, well, this is insane. But that was my commitment to my career.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I was like, I don't think I'm that into it, because for me at that time, I felt like I just didn't really want to work with the talent.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of ego around the talent. They tend to really want to have the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to gravitate more towards environments where people are collaborative and it's more flat,
Mm-hmm.
non-hierarchical.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I don't think that's for me. And so then I went and geeked out, and I went to North High and graduated high school in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to ASU and made up for that by taking 5 years at ASU.
At least you beat John Belushi from Animal House. He was on the 7-year plan.
ASU was so much fun.
I believe
In
it.
all the ways, like in the academics and the social life and the sports. It was amazing.
Did you play sports too?
Just like, what do you call it? Intramural sports.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
There's always stuff going on, right? Like you want to do a ski trip, Ski Devils are having a ski trip. You want to join an organization that has interesting people and doing cool things. It's there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a big shift for me out of like being in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Especially with
it's fun.
gang fights.
I left that after a semester. I was like, you know, I'm pretty open-minded, but this isn't my thing.
All right. So you had given up film by this point when you
At that
graduated.
point, I gave it up. I didn't know what I wanted to do at that point. I got my degree in economics,
Mhm.
and then a friend of mine was making like $75,000 a year selling digital ads online, and they're like, "Why don't you come work with us?" I was like, "Sure." I had no idea how to sell, so that was kind of a bit of back and forth, and then I became really good at sales, and
Mhm.
I went and worked for different media outlets. And it wasn't my passion, but I loved it because it was creative. It was independent. You kind of run your own business as a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to work with all different types of businesses all day, every day. And I like that. It was
Mhm.
interesting to kind of learn, well, how do you make money? What do you do? Why is this interesting for you? Probably the single biggest thing I learned out of that is that there are so many people out there running a business who are just doing it, what's the word, like ham-handed.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it. I thought anybody running a business had to be like perfect.
No. Some people are just literally doing shit and figuring it out. And honestly, that's how you become good, is you just do it and you figure it out.
You just
Yeah.
got to get in and do it. And that was probably one of the biggest things that
Mhm.
I learned out of that. And then also, during that time, I was doing volunteer work. And, you know, when my parents got divorced, I was very housing stressed. It was, there were a lot of tough times financially on my mom's side, and I lived with my mom primarily. And so after I started making money on my own, I started doing volunteer work with groups like Habitat for Humanity. And then after that, that led to someone inviting me to do international work. Like I was rebuilding orphanages in Mexico. And I think that's where it really hit me when I like figured out what was interesting to me and fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Was when I was digging up shit from broken clay sewer pipes in an orphanage.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is really rewarding. And it's not just, you know, I could see the whole picture. One of the things about film that was interesting was the complexities of putting a team together.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw that and the meaning that was behind real estate and how, you know, just providing shelter is such a sacred act,
Mm-hmm.
that really propelled me to say, this is my calling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my calling, is just to provide retail, industrial, but mostly today it's build for rent homes and multifamily.
And where are you guys building those right now?
I'm actually starting a group called Developers Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
You do not want to be a developer.
No.
You do not want to be a developer.
Developers go through hell.
So I've been a developer for years. Development is very cyclical, where there are times where it's what I call, there are windows of opportunity. Real estate is all that, and you can relate to this. Real estate is primarily, one of the aspects is it's about managing short windows of opportunity and
Right.
executing within that window.
Right. When the market takes off, you got to already be buzzing, make your money then, and then, you know.
There's that, but then also on the deal side, like you have a buyer, they're ready to execute, you got to make the offer immediately. You don't wait a week.
Oh, no. Time
You've gotta
is
wait.
of the essence.
Time
yeah.
kills all deals.
Time kills all
right?
deals, yeah.
So it's kind of like time is everything, and timing is everything, especially in development. So there's windows where the demand, the renter or the buyer pool is strong, the cost of capital is low, the cost of construction is lower, and it's all relative, right? Because as one thing rises, other things rise. So there's windows where the dynamics are very favorable. We are not in one of those windows today, especially in Phoenix. And that just goes for like rentals across the board. I mean, there are exceptions to that, right?
No, rentals. There's way too many rentals in Phoenix. 100%.
Way too many new rentals in Phoenix,
yes.
Right? Yeah. And Phoenix has had something like 30,000 units delivered in the last 3 years. And that actually Phoenix has done really well at absorbing that. Rents are off maybe 2%, and occupancy is still in the 90s, like 93, down from like 95. So that shows that there is tremendous demand, but it just takes time for all these apartments and homes to get absorbed, for people to cancel or they're new moving, just all that takes a little bit of time. So Phoenix is a really strong market long term. It's just we've had a ton of new supply come in the last 3 years, and next year that supply cliff is dropping off. I think we're only anticipating like plus or minus 15,000 new apartments, which is a huge drop off from like the 28,000 that we had last year.
I remember a couple years ago, I saw a graph, and it was New York City obviously had the number one most incoming apartments in the country. Number 2 was Phoenix, which I was like, that's insane. There's no way we should have that many apartments in Phoenix. Like, people like houses here. New York, obviously, yeah, it's a big city. Phoenix? But yeah, there is a huge drop off because, developers couldn't make stuff pencil. So I think it's 27 is when that starts. Is that right? 2027?
This year, the drop off. 26 is when it's dropped off.
Okay.
But, that thought that you shared is interesting. But think about it. New York is also very much built. It's not necessarily a growth market. In fact, I think if you look, population growth in New York has been somewhat negative the last 5 years and starting to rebound post-COVID.
Well, for sure.
New York and SF have just been vacated post-COVID.
The population
and now it's starting to come back.
I think the population of New York has been 8 million since like 1950.
Yeah, so Phoenix is
Phoenix
growing.
has grown from 1 million people to 8 million since then. So,
So Phoenix is booming. So you can kind of make sense of that. But there's just like long-term employment drivers in Phoenix, and that's really what drives housing demand or jobs. Yeah. So you've got like TSMC as an easy target, and then there's other headquarters that have announced or have opened other job growth. Mayo Clinic is another huge job thing. So, I mean, all of that creates demand. People are moving here.
For sure.
And Phoenix is generally pretty affordable comparatively, no matter where you are in the spectrum. I mean, I have a colleague that was going to buy a second home or fifth home, whatever number it was for him, and he was battling between Palm Springs and Scottsdale.
Scottsdale all day.
Scottsdale all day. He said
all
in
day.
Palm Springs, it doesn't have all the amenities, resources, and infrastructure, but he can get so much more bang for his buck in Phoenix.
More bang for your buck, and also Palm Springs is kind of a retirement community. Jensen and I were there last spring for a conference, and it's beautiful. Like, you drive down that main road, and you have the mountain right there. It's gorgeous. There's all the golf courses, but if you really think about, okay, if I'm going to live here, where do I go to work? Like, it's a 2+ hour drive to LA.
Yeah.
Like, Scottsdale has more of an actual city life because, this is actually the financial center of the Phoenix Metro. It's like everyone in real estate, finance, medicine, they're here in Scottsdale. And then it's right next to Phoenix. So this really is more like the middle of the city. But you still get the same vibe
you get so
in
much
a lot
more
of ways.
house.
And you get a lot more house.
Like twice as much house for half the price.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of runway for Phoenix.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
And Phoenix definitely needed a lot more supply because pricing went crazy. Rents went up 20% after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So more supply means more affordability.
Yes, for sure. Now, do you think that prices are going to start creeping back up once that supply
gets absorbed?
Yeah, gets absorbed because the new supply is cut off.
Yeah, and
so that's
it's not that new supply is cut off. It's also that we've had tremendous wage growth, and then how that can be measured is you look at affordability for like what percentage of income do current rents take up. For people making $60,000, $80,000, $150,000 a year, right? And when you look at Phoenix affordability, wage growth has been so strong that, and then with the rents just slightly coming down, rents are now taking up a much smaller proportion of people's income compared to just after COVID. So there's room.
I agree. So you guys are building build-to-rent houses, but you still compete with apartments?
That is one of my projects. That's one of my projects. Is I've done build-to-rent communities. I've done that in a few different formats. One of them is kind of where it's an apartment style community, and they are like luxury, not attached casitas.
Yeah,
and you've got like carport parking.
See, that's what I have in mind.
Amenities. Yeah. So that's like I would call it horizontal multifamily build to rent type project. And then I had been doing a lot of that. And then I thought the market kind of has enough of those options, but what we don't have as much here are actual houses with backyards and a garage that is a rental community.
Yeah.
And so that was another type of project that I've built. But today, again, I don't really think it's the window for development, to go through the process of buying land and getting the approvals for your designs and improvements and then construction and all that. It's just...
So on that note of Phoenix having the second most apartments, that was a few years ago, so it's not recent. But this is recent. This past year, Phoenix was number one in build-to-rent houses by far. By far.
It's been sort of an epicenter for that. Most of that product is the horizontal multifamily.
Yeah, so they count those. I feel like those compete more with apartments.
Yeah, they all kind of compete. Yeah, but it's a natural progression. Just being in the space and talking to tenants or seeing the research on what happens, right? So,
do you think apartment rents compete directly with house rents?
Everyone's got an option, right?
Yeah.
So if you can rent a house for the same price as an apartment in the same location, I think most people are going to take the house. Assuming everything else was being, the same. Maybe you lose out on amenities or that kind of thing. So, everything, it's all priced, right?
Yeah. There's got to be a price difference between house and apartment.
There's all price adjustment
for
the variation and choice and location, right? Yep.
What do you say that adjustment is for apartment versus house? In a similar but not the same location.
Well, generally the rule of thumb is that's like actually, is that you ringing?
That's me ringing, yeah.
It's
vibrating on my butt.
Generally, the guidance is that horizontal multifamily, so those casita communities, they command about a 20% premium over apartments.
And then what about a house compared to the casitas?
Now it's apples and oranges, right? Because the casitas aren't, you're not going to have a 2-bedroom house really. And if you do, it's probably a 70s construction versus, the casita that's new construction. So it's like, I don't know. Now you're getting apples and oranges.
One of my clients just backed out of a deal to buy a 2-bedroom house in Scottsdale just yesterday. So it's a funny subject.
What was the year of construction?
I think it was 62.
Yeah. So it's going to be a little older because we don't build them like that, right?
We don't build them like that
Not today.
And dude, this was a house.
So now you're comparing maybe the 3-bedroom casita to a 3-bedroom. I don't know.
This was a house that was expanded by 300 square feet
Okay.
recently. And
Wow.
it's still only 2 beds.
Big remodel. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this Instagram clip I saw where this guy was pissed off because they towed his boat. He was like, "That was an additional bedroom." All right. So what's interesting? What did you? So we were hanging out with friends. We started talking real estate. I keyed in on you being very dialed with the luxury market, and I started sharing some research I had been doing around the luxury market. And I was like, "Tell me what you think," because I'm sort of operating in a vacuum, but this is a sector that I'm like very interested in. So I feel like luxury has a lot of runway, and that's something that I guess surprised me compared to where I was thinking like 2 or 3 years ago, and that market has proven to be more resilient. So,
for sure. And I was doing in the luxury space in New York too, and I just kind of like took that out here. Fortunately, it was just great timing because now people actually want to live in Arizona when they have a lot of money. Didn't used to be like that. Used to be like, okay, this is like a suburb of California. You move here when you're done living in LA, or you're like you don't want to live in LA or San Francisco, whatever. But now people actually want to live here just for the sake of living here. So I think that is a permanent thing. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. I mean, nothing's permanent, but we got 10 plus years of that at least. The big thing is when you're in that luxury space, when you're at the higher price points, they have a lot of options. And if you fuck up, then people just don't buy it. So I live at the Optima right here in Old Town. And that is a primo community, primo location. The original finishes are dog shit. Like, they are bad. Because that was built before Arizona was a luxury destination, so just the interiors aren't great. I have a buddy who does a lot of renovations there, and he's really dialed it in for what the real high-end buyers want. He just did a deal. Jensen was actually there. We did a video there. He paid $2.5 million for this place. They put $1 million into it. Took a year, so call it another $500K holding costs. They're selling it for $6.5 million. It's under contract, going to close soon. So he and his partner made over $1 million profit each. Call it $1.2 million after they pay broker fees and all that. So $1.2 million profit on one deal. And if they had done one little thing off, or one little thing, or maybe a couple little things just not up to the standards that those kind of buyers would be looking for, it just wouldn't have sold.
Yep.
And they'd just be stuck with this giant property that no one wants.
And that's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about, how in 251, for example, that's the highest price per foot on livable square footage, and the lowest days per market. But what it looks like when we look at the data is that some homes move really fast and some sit.
Especially if you look in single family in 85251, because there's so many older houses around here, and a lot of them are just remodels. Whereas if someone tears it down and builds brand new, that's going to get a much higher price than a remodel. So if they do a remodel and they try and price it like a new build, they're just not going to sell. So
are you finding lots, or are you just focused on
I don't do that.
Resale, new home?
Yeah, resale.
Okay.
Resales. But new development too. So we got some new development in the pipeline, which I think is going to be really, really fun. But it's not going to be super luxury. It might be like $400,000 to $700,000.
Okay. That's like affordable.
Yeah, townhouses.
Yeah. Okay. And where's that going?
I can't share too many details, but 2 to 3 bed townhouses, $400,000 to $700,000, pretty close to Scottsdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close, but not in Scottsdale.
No Scottsdale address, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no Scottsdale address. So you pay taxes somewhere else, and hopefully Scottsdale schools.
It won't be schools. I don't think this is going to appeal to people who want schools, but it might appeal to ASU.
Okay.
I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's good. So you're getting into development.
Well, brokering.
Oh, you're going to broker it. You're not going to
Brokering.
put money in on it.
No. But that is the end goal. So
The end goal is to put money in.
Yeah, of course. So the brokerage I worked for way back in the day is called Nest Seekers. They had a thing where they would get the exclusive on a new development, like a condo, say 100 units, And then the guy who owned the company, Eddie, he'd throw 10% in for the developer. So even if the development went to shit, he was still making money because they sold every single one, right? They sold the 100 units, they get the commissions on that. So for him, it was like printing money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is such a long game to get to that point, you know, because they don't hire brokerages for new developments, you know, just like that. You have to really be in the business for a while.
You just got hired for one.
Oh, no, we're not hired.
Oh, you're not hired?
I'm just telling you about it.
Oh, you're competing for it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if I can help you in any way, happy to help.
Appreciate that.
And one idea I would share with you is that I have a lender relationship that is focused on getting $3 billion in construction loans out next year. And they will do a program where they provide, how do I explain this? They provide the loans to the retail buyer that are structured similar to what home builders are doing. You know what home builders are doing?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing rate buy downs. So now the rate's like 4% when market's 7%. So they'll do that, but they won't put it on the comp sheet. They'll take it off the back end on the construction loan. And then they give you this, and because they're all one facility, there's no middleman, so the costs are overall cheaper. So something like that could be a resource.
So Matt, what else you got for the future? You're looking into luxury? You want to get into luxury development?
I think luxury development or redevelopment is a good spot to focus on. I haven't figured out the entry point for it, so I'm open. In the meantime, I've been working a lot with AI to advance my business processes, and I've been deep in the weeds over the last few weeks, and it's pretty amazing what AI can do with, and I just, if you would have asked me 4 months ago, I would have said, I've tried AI, it looks interesting, maybe it'll be somewhere in 2 years, and then I don't know, something pulled me back into it, and I'm just kind of blown away at what I can do. And like this week's milestone that I've reached is that I've got AI to a point where it can do about 85% of the underwriting on an acquisition for me, and then I'm just auditing, which is pretty amazing because that 85% is probably 12 hours of work. Yeah.
It's amazing how easy some things become when you just have automation. Like, I got like a 20-page packet to read through all the HOA rules, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. I could Control F and try and find a keyword, but that's hit or miss. Put it into AI. Which page is this part on? Tells you exactly where, and you have to double check because AI makes stuff.
You gotta audit AI.
You gotta audit AI, so you have to say which page is this part on, and then you actually go on the page and make sure it's actually there. Okay, thank you, AI.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then what I was sharing with you when we first started talking about doing a podcast, what I was sharing is that I pulled 5 years of MLS data on homes 5 million and up. We all know about Cromford Report. But Cromford doesn't measure doesn't break down markets after 5 million. It's just all lumped together. And there's a lot happening that's different in that space.
Yeah, $5 million in Gilbert is going to be like, oh my God, greatest sale ever.
Yeah.
5 million in Scottsdale, you're like, 5 million in Paradise Valley, well, that's just average.
Yeah, definitely that. Or, we have a mutual friend that's doing something like or maybe doing a $20 million spec, right? And like, so how deep is that market? I mean, there's a lot of developers who say they really like doing the mega size projects because the air is really thin, meaning there's not as much competition there.
I think there's maybe 10 closed sales over 20 million, maybe 10 to 15. Am I correct on that?
I'd have to look. I did bring my my MacBook, and we can whip out the data if you want to get deep, but I think when we were talking about it, we were looking over the data, and it looked like that 20 million market had slowed down a ton, and there was a lot of new supply.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have had that idea. Like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, people are buying 20 million homes in Arizona now. Let's actually build them.
Yeah, and kind
then they
of
build them.
what prompted this, for me, what prompted this is that I have been looking at, since development is, it's not really the window for development. I believe there are development deals out there. I've kind of seen them here and there, but they're not as exciting as they used to be in terms of risk reward. And so I started to think about, well, what other businesses should I be working in that are leveraging my experience, skill set, and capital? And so one of the things I started looking at was spec construction and fix and flip. But I'm not the fix and flip guy that's going to manage the fix and flip on 2 or 3 homes. That's not worth my time,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in talking with the guys that are doing that, what I found was they're stressed on capital and kind of beat up on confidence, and they want capital and they want collaborative, intelligent capital with them. So what I did was I set up a structure and capital arrangement to fund fix and flip developers last year, where I would bring equity and debt to the project because I have debt relationships, and then I would support them in their pursuits with finding subs or managing contractors or understanding budget and schedule. I mean, the level of sophistication with some of these guys is decent, but a lot of them are just very ham-handed, right? And it's just, with all of my experience on the institutional side, I can bring that without overcomplicating things, but de-risking the deal so they can not get pinched like they did 2 or 3 years ago when the housing market slowed down. And so I did my rounds and met with a lot of people, but I just didn't find the right people to partner with. And so that didn't really take shape, but that's on the shelf. And, we'll see. Maybe there's somebody to partner with as a capital source
Mm-hmm.
for new home development, maybe luxury, maybe something different.
I love it. Let's find you some money.
The money's there for that. What I need are the developers for that.
Oh, they do developers.
And
okay.
then I would invest with the developer
Okay.
as a partner.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I heard capital source. I got that confused.
Yeah,
You
well,
are
I
the capital
arranged
source.
I
You
arranged
are
the
the capital
capital
source, okay.
for that, and then I would come in, and then that way they've got capital. What I found is that a lot of these guys are paying crazy rates that I can get better, and then they need more equity so they can do more projects. When they do
Mm-hmm.
more projects, they get more scale, they keep their crews busy, and that lowers their costs, and they get things done faster. So
You heard it, boys. You want to develop his properties. Let's go. Matt, you got anything else for us today?
what's going on in your life? How's everything outside of work?
I work and drink. That's about it.
Still living the Manhattan life in Scottsdale.
Yes.
All right. Well, you're
Not to
doing
cut
it
it
well.
off. Thank you. Not to cut it off, but
We had a good time,
we've been here for an hour, yeah. Sorry, guys.
including our top secret.
Are you going to miss
conversation.
Matt? They're going to miss you. Matt,
Maybe I'll have to come back.
Matt Avrhami, everybody. Not Avrhami. Avrhami.
Avrhami.
Thanks for watching.